Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's Crush It in Sales podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Van Fleet, and I am so excited you decided to join me today. Well, I am fired up. I just came back from my evening walk. It's actually late for me to record this podcast. It's Tuesday night, and I'm going to be releasing it early tomorrow morning. Wednesday mornings is when I release this podcast. And I normally do content creation on Sundays, but I had fun plans this past Sunday, so hence why it's Tuesday night now. But more on my fun plans and what I did on Sunday in a few minutes. So I am super excited. I'm fired up. I've had so many epiphanies. I can't say that word, it's still big for me. In the past few months, and so much clarity. And I just am blown away. Some ways in a great way, obviously, and then some ways in a, oh, really? way. More on that later. But in that, I want to announce some things, and if these call to you, if these speak to you, the links will be in the show notes. And I'm just going to do it in the beginning because I tend to forget, which is kind of part of my issue of how fast my brain works, and not share all the things that I could be sharing. So I'm going to show up for myself and for anyone out there that is interested and do a better job of that. So just a little tip if you're one of those people that are not doing that, sharing that tip right now for a sales tip. First of all, I brought back Beyond Basics private Facebook group, which is a free private Facebook group. And I started that group last October. And I stopped it in February just because I got busy. Really, I had a big consulting gig and I got busy and I've been busy since. And you know what? It's just a freaking lame excuse. So I brought it back. I'm super excited. I also am going to be doing probably every other week to start, and it might increase, 2-day mini masterclasses. And they will evolve, but they will be paid because you know what? My content is valuable, and I believe people need to have some skin in the game. So I have over 3 years of podcasts out there between Crush It in Sales and the Good Karma Success Coach, plus YouTube videos, plus blogs, plus books. Like, fill your boots. There's a shit ton of free content. So these masterclasses will be a very small ticket, and the ticket will go up closer to the day of the masterclass. So if you are interested in the link for the first one, which is going to be called 360 Confidence Alignment, 360 degrees confidence alignment, then message me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, send me an email, and I will send you the link. And also the other thing that I shared on the Good Karma Success Coach podcast, episode 206, I shared it in full, and then I briefly mentioned it on 207, is that a very, very amazing course called Money Mentality Makeover by the Money Queen herself, Amanda Frances, is about to relaunch. And I took this course back in 2019. Yes, 2019. And it is the only course that I have taken multiple times from start to finish. Amanda Frances is amazing. If you do not know who that is, again, she is the original Money Queen. Her money manifestation courses are the bomb. She has lots of courses, but this is the big one. This is the premier one. There is a payment plan, and I did the payment plan way back when. I love payment plans. I think they're great. And so I will be putting my affiliate link for this course in the show notes. And I wrote about a huge aha moment I had while I was listening to her course way back when. And I wrote about that in Life and Love Lessons, my second book. And there's just been so many aha moments from listening to that course and watching her videos. And her videos are from the beginning. Like, when you see her videos, you'll be like, wow, that's old. Yep. Kudos to her. I love that she kept the integrity of her videos from when she first started doing this course. It's really, really cool. So anyhow, so if you're interested in that, the link for that will be in the show notes. And again, that is an affiliate link. So yeah, I think that's all I want to share with that. And always, private one-on-one coaching, just email me and we can have a conversation and see what works for you and what you're looking for. All right. Today, what I was thinking about on my walk was talking a little bit more about social media. So a few podcasts ago, I had social media vision. I talked about some tips and I really love talking about social media. I've come 360, 360 confidence alignment on social media. So for this podcast, I wanted to share a conversation I had with my friend Charlotte this past Sunday. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, I had a fun day on Sunday. My very good friend Charlotte Twine, she's a fellow writer. That's actually how we met, is she interviewed me for the paper that I'm also now a freelance writer for, the Upper Keys Weekly, way back when I launched my first book, and we have become friends since then. And she invited me last year, so 2021, when we both turned 50, to go to our house, and it's R, capital R, house in Miami. And if you are in Miami, you may have heard of this really, really popular place for Sunday brunch because they have drag queen shows and they're amazing. I've always loved drag queens. This goes way back, even when I was moving from Chicago to Manhattan in 1996. My going away party in Chicago was at a drag show. So I've always gone to drag shows, always. Like I've been to the ones in Key West. I've been in New York City. Like I love drag. Such a respect for the queens. And I mentioned even last week in my Extreme Ownership podcast about how they used to come into Victoria's Secret, and it was always so fun to help them. So anyhow, so Charlotte and I were having fun and we were taking some pictures, and she said to me, she said, "Hey, is it okay if I tag you on my post?" Now she's only on Instagram. And she asked me that. And number one, I thought that was super cool of her to ask me because years ago, like we're talking like 5 years ago before I was on social media, I would often be somewhere and someone would want to take a group picture and then they'd want to tag me. And I was like, no, I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be tagged. And it was like all this junk, right? All this like, don't do that. Like, I don't want to be on social media. And, I have such regrets about that behavior. But, whatever, I don't live in regrets, but still, if I could gone back and changed my social media habits way back when and built an audience way before trying to launch this business, I would have done so. I can't go back in time though. Well, maybe someday, but anyhow. So I thought that was super cool that she asked me. And of course I was like, oh, please tag me. I think that's great. I'm totally fine with that. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And I think because maybe the nature of it being drag, and if someone does have any stigma around it, that could be why she asked. I really didn't ask her. I just kind of moved on from that thought process because I didn't care. And honestly, if you don't want to listen to me anymore because I like drag queens, then whatever, I don't care. Like, that's fine. Like, move on. It's all good. So anyhow, so what made me end up having a conversation with her, what ended up deriving from that, I should say, is that I said, I really appreciate that you asked and that you are going to publicly tag me, because there are different energies that I see out there in the land. And this is not picking on one person. I've seen this pattern. I've seen this behavior over time, over the years. And I don't think that everyone is always really consciously aware of tagging people. And we ended up having just a really great discussion. So I'm going to share 2 examples that I see out there that I've seen for years. And these are things that used to trigger me probably like, let's say a couple years ago, maybe like 2 years ago. It's before I did the co-authored book series. So yeah, over 2 years ago. And, they don't trigger me anymore. But what ends up happening is I actually see people mentioning these things then on Facebook. And so I know that, it is a challenge for a lot of people. And if you are experiencing social media triggers, your energy is not in a great place for social media. Let's face it. So as you're posting or trying to create connection or build an audience or sell a product, well, if you're constantly triggered, like you're really not doing yourself any favor, people. Like that is all about energetic alignment and working to clean that up. Clean up that side of the road is really, really, really important. So I'm going to walk you through these two things. And actually I have three things. I just thought of a third, but I'm going to walk you through these two things. And I hope this just sheds some light if you are someone that is in one of these camps that you're like, yep, Melinda, you're right. Like I do need to clean up some of this trigger, some of this negative energy that's out there. Like truly no shade to you. Because again, I've been there. That's how I know. Because I've been there. I walk the walk. And it's just so freeing when you don't have these triggers anymore, and it's no big deal when someone does some of these things. You just kind of like move on, or it doesn't affect you at all, or you like and comment, you just do your thing, right? Just do your thing. But it is something that I do believe probably is a challenge for a lot of people. So here we go. So circling first to the Instagram. When you post on Instagram, you may have noticed that you can, when you're creating the post, it says tag people. When you use that function, you're tagging someone behind the scenes. You're not actually like tagging them in the post. And you probably know this, right? But what that does, and this was my conversation with Charlotte, is number one, you're just not giving props or credit to the person that you're in the post with, right? You're not celebrating them too. You're not saying, hey, I was at this brunch and I was with Melinda Van Fleet and we had an awesome time. Thank you, Melinda, for hanging out with me. Or you're not like giving like a congratulations, or Melinda Van Fleet really inspired me. You're just like wanting them to comment and like, but you're not publicly giving them credit. And it creates like this yucky, wonky energy, because then the person that was, I call it blind tagged, then they may respond in the comments, oh yeah, we had so much fun together. And then that creates like a bad energy. So you've got an energy from the first person of like, well, why did they do that? Do they not want to have your, share your name publicly, give you props, give you kudos? And then the other person may have some wonky energy then too, right? So that whole post went womp, flop. It really doesn't serve anybody, right? Number two is on LinkedIn. And again, I have seen this for years. I have never done this. And I never did the first thing either, because I just see the energy. But the second thing is when you create a post on LinkedIn and then you tag like 20 people that you want to comment in like your post, but your post has absolutely nothing to do with them. You're not celebrating them. Again, you're not giving them a shout out for inspiring you. You're not saying, hey, we were at this conference together, or we had an awesome brunch. Like you're just literally tagging them so they will like and comment on your post and help your algorithm. Think about that. Think about that. So again, that is something like I have never done, but I see it, and you have to just wonder like, okay, how is that person behaving? And if they don't know, then they don't know, but other people see that. So that's energy. That's an energetic disconnect right there. Create a post, celebrate the other person, tag them if they wish to be tagged, like Charlotte asking me. I thought that was really cool. Again, do the thing, celebrate the other person. And the third, and this is what came up in Facebook that I saw and I commented on because, again, I have been there. So someone who is an author was approached in her DMs likely for some course to write a book. And her post then on Facebook was, oh, it's so annoying that people, basically don't look at her content enough to know that, she's already written a book, so she doesn't need this. And then they're selling to her in the DMs. Okay. Selling in the DMs is just something that goes on. And I have to say, I rarely get it anymore. And I think it's just because I just don't accept that energy. It doesn't trigger me anymore, and I don't think about it. So once in a while, it does happen. I had it actually, I think this morning, I just told the girl, no, thank you. She seemed like she was a great coach, but I have my coaches. I'm good. I'm really good. I have enough coaches. So I don't want any more coaches. And plus I'm 51 years old and this girl I think is like 25. So I could probably be your mom. But anywho, nothing bad. Like I sent her love and compassion. And, if that's how she's doing her business model, then kudos to her. That's great. It does not trigger me anymore. But years ago, it did. I was just like that woman who did the post about the book. I totally get it. And I posted in response to her and that I, had to work through my triggers around that. And then she was like, I just block them. That's cool if that's your way to handle the situation. I've done that before too. I get it. It was kind of like step one. And then after that, it kind of becomes step two is acceptance when you're really working on your triggers. So then another woman on the post said that was something she was trying to work on was her triggers around posts like that and messages in the DMs. So I think that it's just really important if you are someone that is dealing with any of these things or maybe a situation that's similar, it's just kind of in the bucket of triggers and energy, to number one, give yourself grace. And then number two, healing this, that's what I'm going to call it, healing this. It's a process. It's a process and it's going to vary by people, by the actual person. It may vary by the type of post. It may serve you best to unfollow someone. It may serve you best to block them. It may serve you best to, just say a quick prayer and ask for help and guidance. And set an intention if you rather do intention setting versus prayer, whatever fits your, if you're religious or spiritual or however you want to look at it. And, just send them love and light and just move through it. I do believe, again, that this is a really big topic and a lot of people really struggle with this and not that many people talk about it. So in that, as you know, I'm a private one-on-one coach and I'm more than happy to have conversations with someone about this if this is something that you wish to work on and the energetics of your business is really holding you back and this is one of those things. This is something I can help you with because again, I've been there. I get it. No judgment, no shade. Been there. I raise my hand high. So my human design 3-5 is full on strong with understanding triggers in social media. So that's all I've got for tonight, but I thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please share this podcast with someone out there. I think that is just really, really cool when I hear that someone shared my podcast with a friend or a family member that could really benefit from the content. I always share a lot. And I'm happy to do so. I've always been happy to do so. And so is my husband. He's the same way. We're both kind of oversharers. So we hope that people really appreciate it and embody it and really use it to transform their lives or their business. And for this podcast, I hope it helps you crush it in sales. Thanks for listening.